what does that reporting process look like? And what support is there in place for that person reporting as well?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the reporting component, that's why we don't really have large numbers about these,
Hmm.
incidents. It's because, like you said, it's a very sensitive one. When we're speaking about ethnically diverse people, usually what happens in the community and family stays in the community or family. And so there's no outward reporting too. So the numbers are going to, like I said, be almost non existent. But you're
Hmm.
right, it does take courage for older people to or their family members to speak up about what's happening to them. And the reality is all of these, I think it's a reality, but also sometimes it's not very obvious, is that these conversations are always confidential and they're private between the person that is reporting or calling and between the person who's receiving that call. The person who's receiving the phone calls are usually trained individuals who know how to handle these conversations. Sometimes they're social workers as well that are able to navigate these difficult conversations in ways that make it a bit more comforting and supportive. And the process is that, sometimes it could be that I'm concerned that something is off. Is there a way where we can check on this? Is there someone that you can send to assess this, for example? Or it could be a very, direct, this is what's happening and this needs to be addressed. So depending on the incident itself, the receiving end will have to take the right steps necessary because we don't want to scare people and make them too concerned about these things, right? There was
Right.
an kind of a conversation about maybe it's best if we send a social worker just to say that they're doing a regular check-in, for example,
Hmm.
about a person, or if they're connected to a local organization in the community. It could be almost like an invitation for the older person to go to that organization. And then in that organization, um, a kind of a confidential conversation could be had about what their situation looks like. Um, and so, there are various ways to be able to overcome this. I think the most important step, like you said, Melissa, is to build up the courage to be able to talk about these things. And those things come gradually based on the level of trust this person has with the other side or with the entity that they're reporting this to. And so trust is a key factor in trauma informed care. And so if we don't have that trustworthiness, then, a lot of things will be a bit more challenging.